It used to be so clear. The question of where do we go next? But which way do you turn when the road leads anywhere? With tremendous volumes of data at hand, with fewer constraints than ever, the question is no longer, what can we do next? The question has become, what should we do next? This intelligence revolution marks a turning point in the way we do business. And within this simple change lies enormous opportunity. When we use digital transformation as a gateway, we can contextualize data into intelligence. We can reduce complexity. We can formulate strategies for the modern world. To conceive a smarter future in your mind and realize it in your business, that's the path we are taking. Think, strategize, create, analyze, act, and optimize. From the big picture down to the most remarkable detail. Until, once again, the road becomes clear.
Good morning, Johannesburg, and welcome to the Accolades Boutique Hotel. It's for the final Winter Breakfast Roadshow of 2019. And it's my great excitement to finally say, hello world. We are live streaming this event for the first time in our history, and we are looking forward to sharing this with the global audience that we have. I'm Darren Browning. I'm Head of Industry Sales at IS3, and I'm going to introduce our co-speakers for the event. We have Samir Alopi, our Head of Technology, and Nilen Burmal, our Technical Director. They will be joining us a little bit later. It's important today to say that today, more so than ever, every individual in this room has the power to shape the future. Not only is it the individuals, but it's also the organizations that they work for and the industries that they are in. We're very focused on around digital transformation, changing the way we do things and bringing in new ways of work and looking for optimization. But today, digital transformation is not the be-all and end-all. What we need to focus on right now today is digital acceleration. And why do I say acceleration? The need for us to accelerate our transformational strategies is becoming more and more pressing, and more demand is being put on our industry to change and to transform. But I'll ask you, why now and why industry? The importance is that if you do not accelerate this transformation, you run the risk of being also ran or mothballed companies. We need to get our competitive edge back. If I had to take a look at how different industries have progressed through a digitalization curve and adopted technology, it's very alarming for us to see that majority of our industry remains at the bottom of this curve, and we have not been able to adopt technology as fast as IT, retail, finance. It's very important that we have to transform to get our competitive edge back and to remain competitive in the industry. And I'm going to put some more context to this for you. In 1995, companies that dominated our world markets were mainly resource, manufacturing, energy, and food and bev and pharmaceutical companies. If we fast forward to today, 2019, we look at the markets are dominated by IT, retail, and telco companies. Doesn't that sound familiar? If I bring up this graph again, the companies that used to dominate the markets are sitting towards the bottom, and the companies that are dominating markets are at the top of this curve. So in a short summary, if you're able to progress through this digitalization curve and adopt the technology, you can be in a market-leading position. I'll take it a little bit further for you, and I want you to do a self-assessment. The important thing to have a look at is, when last did you? When last did you guys write a check? Some of you in this room don't even know what a checkbook looks like. When last did you go into your bank to do a transaction to transfer funds from one person to another? Today, at the tap of a cell phone or tap of a card, you can transact. Or you go online and you can transfer money from one account to another or to other individuals. Another interesting thing, students aren't allowed to answer this because they're forced to go to the library. But when last were you in a library to take out an encyclopedia to do research on a topic? Today, if you don't know something, we use Google search and we type in our question, and at a click of a button, we become instantly knowledgeable and experts in what we're trying to do. Or we can use YouTube to do video tutorials, reviews, and how-tos. Our world is changing. When last did you guys buy a newspaper? Today, news is pushed to you on your mobile device, or you can go online. And the important thing is news is real time. Remember, your paper always told you what happened yesterday. So today, on your mobile device, you'll get notifications pushed with breaking news. The importance as well is everybody's a journalist today with their cell phone. You record a video, you post it online, and you start a sensationalist social media platform. So if I had to tell you your everyday lives have been disrupted by digital transformation in other industries, why is it that today that we have not been able to adopt these technologies in our everyday life at work? Maybe it's the fear of the unknown, potential consequences of what could go wrong, or the need for more time in our business. It's quite scary to think of what could go wrong in the industry, what could go wrong at work. But the importance is that you see that companies are pushing to be the first. Companies are trying new technologies. Companies are trying to be at the bleeding edge to try and remain or have a competitive edge there. So you'll see the tech companies trying new things. And it's important for us in our industry to make sure, how do we adopt that in our culture and business to be able to try new technologies and be easily embrace them. So when I talk about our world is quickly changing, companies today have to deal with pressures in the market environment, raw materials and commodity price fluctuations, stricter and stricter environmental quality and safety regulations. We talk about a generational shift in organizations where we have millennials coming into our business. And then the pace of change today is rapid. And we see this even in technology trends. Today, companies have to understand, how does cloud, big data, digital twins, artificial intelligence, and AR, VR complement their business strategies? And if that's not too much pressure for businesses today, they still have to operate, they still have to be profitable, and they still have to look at how do they extract value out of their business and their value chain. But is it really that difficult, guys? I mean, I would forgive you if you stuck your head in the ground and tried to hide away from all of this, because there is a lot on the go. When we talk about digital transformation and we talk about adopting technology and changing, I mean, our own innate human nature is to resist change. But I want to point out to you, and I want to go through it, is it really that difficult? And are we really struggling to do this? I'm going to hand over to Samir Lopi shortly, but before I hand over to him, I want to play a short snippet from the keynote from Exchange, which Pleasure Mnisi, Head of Optimization at Exara, talks about their approach to digital transformation and why it is critical to the mining industry.
What's happening is we've now found ourselves with a huge gap that exists between our industry and other industries. However, the good news which brings us here today is the fact that that technology that is disrupting the world in retail and agriculture, it's already been proven. As much as we're lagging behind, mining is actually at a very good position where we can adopt these technologies much faster than any of the other industries, because they had to test those technologies. But fortunately, we don't have to. Let's face it, there's a lot of opportunities. According to research, mining can save about 1,000 or 976 lives through technology. Secondly, we can save more than 44,000 injuries through technology. We can save or reduce our CO2 emissions by about 608 million tons through technology. We can also bank, as an industry, about 190 billion through technology. Lastly, based on Forbes research, 84% of companies fail in digital transformation. So you've seen the opportunities, but the reality is we carry on failing. Why? The three things, or the three key questions or challenges that we're facing is that a lot of companies, more especially the traditional companies, we don't know where to start our digital transformation journey. Secondly, we don't know how to realize that value that is trapped in our assets. Thirdly, we do not have the startup DNA or culture that is running that allows us to disrupt ourselves.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Devin, and thanks, Pleasure. Why indeed? Well, as Devin mentioned, our industrial organizations are faced with many challenges. Changing consumer tastes, business opportunities and threats always arising, meeting customer expectations, fluctuations in raw material costs, financial constraints, and the ever-changing workforce dynamic. Is this really what's hindering us? Well, I think not. The thing is, these market drivers have been here at each industrial evolution, time and time again. And what do? We apply technology. So if technology is the answer, why is it that our digitization initiatives are failing? Why is it that our industrial organizations are falling below that S-curve? Maybe we're forgetting something. And maybe it's this. Digitization is not an end state. It's a journey. And it's not just a technical journey, it's a commercial journey as well. This was a keynote mentioned at our Exchange conference this year by Pleasure. He mentioned a number of key concepts, the first of which, knowing where to start. And if I had to extract some of those concepts, the first one being sponsorship. Sponsorship from an executive level, so pushing down a digitization strategy from the top down, and what this elicits is also a bottom-up strategy where you gain engineering sponsorship. What this does is it creates a culture, a synergy within the organization where your employees are obsessed with extracting value and falling in love with the problems. So this seems really great, maybe a dream state, and it got me thinking, has this been applied before in our industry? I was fortunate enough to actually go and find a good case study in Namibian breweries, where they were able to seek out sponsorship and define a new way of work for themselves. Let's take a look at their journey 10 years into it.
I remember times when I started here, we were not able to trend or to look back in processes. Now with the new Wonderware system we have implemented, it's always possible to follow up. We can archive a lot of data and follow up and have trends. So it helps us very much to deliver our quality we want to deliver.
I started at Namibia Breweries as a bursary student, working holidays while studying. And when I started here as a full-time employee, I had no idea what the Wonderware software was capable of. There's a whole world of technology at our fingertips that will really make our lives so much easier.
Digitalization journey started 10 years ago, and we came to a point where we realized that information is everything. You can't make decisions without information, so we started building this platform using the Wonderware software, and the needs that were developed, that came out of the company, resulted in us having to employ more people to actually deliver those needs. And where we started 10 years ago with only myself, we ended up now with a department consisting out of 5 people.
When I started working for the breweries, we did most of our work manually. We'd write reports, we'll do all the analysis, everything was on paper. But when we started with the Wonderware, everything changed. It was made simple, I would say, more efficient, more faster, and it also empowered my team.
We used a lot of the Wonderware software so that the end user will be able to see all the processes in real life and historical data to better understand the process and to better change the process accordingly.
The Wonderware solution has really given us a new way of working where we have time to actually analyze the data, to sit and figure out how we can improve the process instead of wasting it on manual tasks.
We as a company can become more efficient and with that create a sustainable business in Namibia, for Namibia.
I feel inspired using Wonderware, and this is the new way of working.
So that's a fantastic example of how sponsorship can help you shape the future. Just to recap, over a decade ago, Namibian breweries realized that they have business opportunities and threats which they can address by using technology. But it was a bit more than that. They needed to base their decisions on in-time information. So what did they seek out? Sponsorship. And they invested in a process historian. What this did was it helped define a new way of work for their organization, where their operational staff, engineers, and even business analysts were able to save time and now focus on value creation. But something else also interesting happened on their journey, if you may have noticed. They encountered a change in the workforce. And this actually wasn't much of a challenge for Namibian breweries because they chose to go with enduring technology. But what I mean by this is the technology was able to accommodate the new generation workforce, where the engineers were able to leverage the existing platform set down by Andre and even improve upon it through his guidance. What are some of our customers doing today to help shape their future? If you remember from last year's summer breakfast, we introduced you to BlackRock mining organization operations. When they embarked on their project, yes, they did have some limitations in terms of the capital available, but what they achieved was actually truly remarkable. So as Mang's BlackRock mining operations set out to establish a new way of work for the mine, they established this unified operations center where it was able to break down silos in terms of operations and get all control operators to see the total value chain in a consolidated manner. This project was actually quite remarkable in the sense that it started ballooning up with new data sources. It got the operational staff to start thinking in new ways on how they are impacting the value chain. Another key aspect about this was that this first phase implementation only took 3 months. And that is what we mean by digital acceleration. So what can we owe to this rapid realization of value? Was there something special that BlackRock mining operations did in terms of their project? And that is, they have established trusted partners. Partners in IS³, our endorsed system integrator Iritron, and Oculus for the control room design. 3 months, rapid realization of value. What else can we achieve when we choose to go with trusted partners? I've got another story I'd like to share with you. This comes from Abu Dhabi, where they were able to establish a unified operations center very similar to that of BlackRock on a much larger scale. And they've coined it Oil and Gas 4.0. Let's take a look.
The Abu Dhabi National Oil Company is the state-owned oil company of Abu Dhabi and the principal catalyst for the Emirates' development. With 14 integrated organizations operating across the hydrocarbon value chain, ADNOC is one of the world's leading energy producers. ADNOC is maximizing value from reserves and operations, and helping to drive its digital transformation is Aviva.
Between Aviva and ADNOC, it's a very special relationship. It's one that's based on a belief of this digitalization of the industry.
Aviva has been a trusted partner of ADNOC for many, many years. It's not abnormal to see them partnering with us in the digital transformation.
No stranger to global market volatility, oil and gas producers are using industrial IoT, big data, advanced visualization, and artificial intelligence to integrate and maximize return across asset and operation value chains.
If we want to have and ensure digital transformation, there are some crucial preliminary steps that we have to go through, and that is to allocate, centralize, and integrate all our data on one single platform.
And that's where Aviva comes in. We have the tools, the best practices, we have the people, we have the know-how, we have the deep research and development.
Fulfilling its vision of Oil and Gas 4.0, ADNOC and Aviva co-developed the Panorama Digital Command Center, a fully integrated, real-time data visualization center that empowers ADNOC's sharpest minds to gain insights, unlock efficiencies, and identify new pathways to optimizing performance. A key element of ADNOC's Panorama is the value chain optimization powered by Aviva's Spiral Supply Chain Management solution.
One run on these scenarios, we can save $60 to $100 million in optimization easily.
ADNOC is incorporating predictive maintenance to empower its team to reduce unscheduled downtime and prevent costly equipment failures.
ADNOC has more than 10 million tags or 10 million sensors around in our facilities that we can bring. One of the things that will increase the number of tags is the predictive maintenance platform that we have. That's also using Aviva Prism.
As the ADNOC team continues to be a reliable provider of energy to the world, with Aviva as its partner, they can imagine and realize a more efficient, integrated, and empowered future than the industry has ever known.
So what ADNOC did was they partnered with over 14 companies. From that video, you saw quite a few interesting things, fascinating things, right? That 50-foot panoramic view, right, which was implemented in just under 3 months with the help of partners. But it goes to show you that partnership can rapidly accelerate your digitization journey. So just to wrap up, what I've shown you in our first half of our journey this morning was that customers from around the world, from different organizations, different industries, on different scales of operation, have been embarking and shaping their journey, utilizing enduring technology, and defining for themselves a new way of work. So what is it that they all have in common? They were able to establish sponsorship, both at executive and engineering level. They've selected enduring technology that is globally supported and globally developed. And they partnered with trusted partners to accelerate their journey. Okay. So I was just about to wrap up there. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to give you 10 minutes to actually download the application on your tables. You'll see a little placard with a QR code. Okay, if you need assistance with this, our support staff will be willing to guide you through the process. We're going to need this later. So you just use your phones, scan the QR code. Alternatively, go onto your app store and look for augmented events. If you need assistance, our support staff will be able to help you. We will continue the second half of our breakfast in about 10 minutes' time. Thank you very much.
Right, guys, today it's the lucky draw time, so I know you guys are busy downloading the app and having a look at the QR codes and getting that sorted out. But to get things moving, as you would have seen in the email, that today we're giving away a 3D printer. The 3D printer is something that is transforming an industry that used to be predominantly only available to the wealthy, and that's the prosthetics industry. Previously, people only had access to prosthetics and private medical aid and that had access to funds. But the 3D printer has been able to transform that industry by being able to give people access to these limbs at a mere $50. So this is something that is really remarkable. And what we've been doing at the different venues is we've been taking the customers on a journey. And the previous winners in Durban were Toyota, in Port Elizabeth was Continental, and the Cape Town we had the Narco Group. And what we're going to do here, and I know Joburg is creative and innovative, what we're going to do is we're going to put these winners into a competition with the winner today. And that person, or the 4 people that from the groups, will be in a competition to understand what have they used the digital or the 3D printer to transform their everyday life in their business. And we're going to be documenting your journey, and we're going to make sure that we follow up with you guys and understand what you're doing. And we're going to be presenting that at the next Breakfast Roadshow. The other exciting thing is that we're going to put you guys into a competition, the 4 winners. And the winner then will also win a seat at Exchange 2020. So I'm going to ask Nilen to put up the numerator. You guys have a number below your name. If you have NA, like myself, unfortunately you cannot win. It's rather a bummer. But we're going to run the numerator. And if your number comes up, please come up to the stage and you will be the lucky winner of a 3D printer. Let's see. Go for it, Nilen. Number 353. Oh, we have a winner! Boy, he doesn't look so sure. Just come up here. It's an old stalwart from the industry. I just want to make sure I need to do the verification. 353. Well done, Johan. So we've got a prize. It's a very big box. We're going to have a photo with you afterwards, but we're also going to track your journey. So Johan's from Lonman, and we're going to track your journey. Sibanya now, sorry. You take over. We're going to track your journey in your industry and in your daily life and understand what you guys are going to use 3D printing for. And you guys have got a wealth of opportunity to use 3D printing for spares, tools, or whatever it is. So it'll be really great. So join us at the back after the breakfast and we'll make sure we hand over the prize to you. Thanks very much, guys. Well done, Johan.
Hello there. So welcome to Exchange. It's about you guys. And what is important about this is network and learn from the conference.
Good morning! Welcome to day one. Got all kinds of interesting speakers.
the end of the day, it represents end-to-end digital twin.
Has anyone heard of Twitcher? Just think about how this new platform enables a new way of working together and learning and collaborating.
We can bring together the physical digital twin together with the operational and behavioral digital twin.
For our digital twin, what information is needed, when should it be delivered in the project, and who should deliver it?
We don't know where to start our digital transformation journey. We do not have the startup DNA or culture that is running that allows us to disrupt ourselves.
The new technology that's out here, brilliant. You can actually see items physically being used and the benefits of that.
Greatest part of the conference was to come together with different people in the different industries, so the networking was really great.
2019 exchange for me was awesome.
My highlight was the keynote speakers, especially the speaker that touched the topic around social media and how it has evolved over the years.
Key moment for me was the presentation on digital transformation by IS³.
As plant engineers and technicians and artisans out there, they need to know the next stage of the revolution, which is the 4th Industrial Revolution.
Oh my goodness, exciting times ahead. We've got all kinds of interesting presentations again, as always. We culminate in looking at the 4th Industrial Revolution, of course, intelligence reimagined.
The networking, the communications, and to you as users and people to engage, because that's a huge part of what the original dream of this conference was about.
Fantastic. Welcome to the Tuesday night awards dinner. What a thrill. And look how beautiful you all look. To get us going, because tonight, of course, we're celebrating the 4th Industrial Revolution. We're looking at how intelligence is imaginatively transformed. We've been looking at the revolution evolution.
So welcome to our awards evening.
We've got awards to give away, which is very exciting. Some of you are up for awards. Some of you are down for awards. Many of you are next to awards. Some of you will never see an award, but that is also fine. French Twins!
Conference was
awesome,
innovative, focused,
audacious, mind-blowing.
A very good morning and welcome to the second half of the Winter Breakfast 2019. My name is Nilan Bumal. I am the Technical Director for IS³. So the video that you guys just watched was our premier event of the year, which was Exchange 2019, which was held at Sun City. So if you haven't been part of this event, please make sure that you get to the event next year. So just to recap some of the events or awards that we've given away during Exchange. So during last year, we saw some innovative implementations being implemented by our SIs and our end users. So we give some sort of recognition at Exchange. So just to recap again, in terms of best planning and scheduling implementation, this was won by Astron Energy in Cape Town. For best operations implementation, this is a video you guys watched when Sam delivered his speech of Namibia breweries. For best control and information implementation, this was done by Transnet. and this was assisted by the system integrator Sarix. We had a Flow award that we gave away at Exchange this year as well, and this was for best implementation of the Flow software, and this was given to the Exaro team. In terms of best business value, this was given to Hydrotech using our InTouch Edge technology, and then the Integ system integrators based in Cape Town assisted with that project. So on our partner side of things, in terms of most revenue generated by our partners, our second runner-up was BCX, our first runner-up was Advances, and our winner this year again was CSI, so well done to them. We also gave away an additional award this year, which was around more certifications. So if you've been around the Wonderware community, you will know that our products have certifications that you go through. So in terms of most certifications or most engineers certified, CSS was the winner in that category. We also gave away a special award where we saw collaboration between our three endorsed SIs, between Advances, CSI, and Irritron, for a project that was delivered to Exaro, which was headed up by Mr. Ren van Zyl. So these were the winners in terms of our Exchange 2019. So if you want to be part of this winners list or winners column for next year's Exchange, please make sure you submit your stories, your implementations that you've done during the year, together with your SIs, and then we can present it next year at Exchange. So next year Exchange will be at, again, the beautiful Champagne's Resort in Drakensberg. And please diarize these dates. It will be from the 10th to the 13th of May, so slightly later in the year. So back to our story in terms of technology trends. I think most of you are probably familiar with some of these technology trends or words that we use like cloud and IIoT, mobility and big data, etc. So these are just some of the technology trends that we see in the market today that helps you on your digital journeys. Okay? So I'm proud to stand here and say that IS³ basically works in all of these or can assist you in your digital journey in all of these categories. Okay. So when we did the research of this, we said that companies are looking at getting information into the system. This is one of the needs from customers, where they want to have information brought to them, okay, in front of them, where they can make informed decisions. And we do this in various ways. So one of the ways, obviously, to collect this information from either PLCs or IoT sensors, or sensors for that matter, and we bring that into our plant environment. And this could be either on-premise, or it could be in the cloud, or it could be hybrid for that matter. Okay? And once we store that information, we then go and analyze that information so we can make better informed decisions on production, etc. Okay? So this concept works quite well, and as engineers, when something works well, we try and roll it out as many times as possible. So if you want more information, we add more PLCs, more IoT sensors, and this goes on and on. The only problem is, the more data that you have, you start to lose that context in terms of that information that you're bringing through. The second need from customers is the need for integration into different systems. Now, some of you might be familiar with some of these. These are just some of the systems that's out there in the market today or industry today that needs integration. So things like ERP, asset maintenance, you might have energy management systems, you might have health and safety systems. These are things we need to bring into one place so that we can have a single version of the truth. And again, we bring that data in, we integrate it, we analyze the data, and we have the single version of the truth. So the third need from customers is obviously the integration from site. Okay? So this could be on site level, and this could be multiple sites or multiple lines within a site, where we try to roll up information into a head office scenario. And that gives us the analytics capability to make better informed decisions on the site level as well as a head office level. Now, a recent survey that we just did showed that almost 53% of customers sits in the integration and the collaboration space. So the need for integration and the need for collaboration. Okay. So if we translate this, it essentially translates into three things, which is technology, the process, and the people behind it. Okay. And this is one of the things that we saw in the ADNOC video earlier, that this is the drive in terms of bringing all that information into one view in that 50-meter wall that you just see. Okay, so ADNOC was able to bring the technology, the process, and the people together in a central control room, or what we call a unified operating center. Okay. So why do we do all this? Okay. So I think you guys are engineers, and you're probably familiar with the fact that you have control processes running in your plant, and you have tasks within these. Okay. So when we do these tasks, we basically go and measure, evaluate, and adjust just so that we can be efficient in our tasks. Okay? And all of this happens near real time. There is a level above this, though, which is more around the operation and the production side of things. So you're not running a task anymore on a piece of equipment, but now you're influencing the production. Okay? So again, you might see questions like, did I fulfill an order? And again, in this process, we also measure, evaluate, and adjust until we get to that perfection. And again, this could take minutes or maybe hours in terms of getting to the right values. But I think the highest level here is probably the bane of our existence as employees and businesses, is that we want to make money at the end of the day. Okay? So the questions are usually asked by CEOs, etc. Did I make enough money? So what we want to do in this process is compress all of this to near real time. Okay? Because it doesn't help me to know weeks from now that what I'm doing right now at this point in time is not going to actually make me money going forward. Okay? So this is one of the reasons, a unified operating center. The second reason is the user experience. And I think I'll give you an example that you can relate to. If you remember Uber. With an Uber application, all you do is select a destination point, and the background processes are all dealt with for you. So the person that picks you up, the money that goes off your account, you don't have to worry about all of those things. Okay? And this is what we talk about when we talk about a unified operating center, is that the user experience needs to be seamless, and he doesn't have to worry about the background process. So since we are at a breakfast, and in the context of our breakfast roadshow, I'll give you another example of a user experience. Okay, so when we talk about content, we talk about the cereal you guys had this morning. Okay, and this is basically what people are looking for. Okay, and then we talk about user interface, and this is the tools that basically serves it up. Okay, and then the third one is the user experience. How is that data being consumed by the users? Okay, how do we do this in our technology? Here's an example of, again, this is system platform as a back end. But this is our operations management interface where we're showing KPIs of different things in here. So the first, on the left-hand side, top left-hand side, you'll see we have consolidated information from different data sources. Okay? On the right-hand side, we can see information about our assets. How is our assets performing? Do I need to create a work order, etc. On the bottom left-hand side, we can see information from our dispersed systems, or it could be from multiple sites or dispersed sites. And on the right-hand side, we give you a little analysis tool or analytic tool where you can go and drill down into the information. Now, on the top left-hand side, if we drill down into that a bit, you'll notice that what we're using here is our Flow software. Now, Flow allows you to get that context of information from different data sources. And in this case, we develop a little dashboard for a solar farm, and we are able to determine whether we have a return on investment on our solar farm. So all of these dashboards, as you see here, is off the shelf in terms of our Flow software. On the bottom right-hand side, we have our analytic tool, which is our Aviva Insight tool. Okay. Now, we released this tool probably 2014 R2, which was almost 3 years ago. And initially, when we released this tool, we said we want to deliver a product to you guys that is easy to use, number one, okay, and is easy accessible, so that you can have it on a browser, you can view information on it, and so on. So when we initially released this, it was mainly used for graphing information, so you could pull trends, and you can link into different data sources and get information from IoT devices, etc., into one view where the different levels of your organization can actually see that information. Now, as we rolled out this product, there's lots of enhancements that's been done on it, and here's one of them. So here, we have an example of Aviva Insight in a browser where you can see geographical information. But what we also now added in the latest release, which is available now, is that you can now go and add a graphic in there. Okay, so I'm in the browser, I hit the create graphic button, which gives me a little editor in the browser, and I'm now able to drag in an image. So you can bring in a PNG or a GIF image or a JPEG, etc. Depends what image type you're going to bring in. It's as simple as clicking and dragging it into the browser. And once you've done that, you can then start to enhance the colors, etc., the backgrounds, and add information to this pane. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is just add a tag. Since we're talking about solar farms, temperature is important. So I'm going to drag a little tag on the canvas there, and you can see it gives me the value immediately. And then I also have other options. So I can go and click on it, change the text color, add tooltips to it if I wanted to, change the background. What I'm going to do here is just modify this a bit and add a little pie chart. So the library of pie charts that you have currently is available. Okay, they are adding more stuff to it. So as you drag it on, you'll see it's now represented in a little pie chart. Okay, but I don't know what tag it is. So I can also modify that, select the high option, and then I can see that the tag value is temperature. Okay, pretty simple. So again, it's a click and drag functionality, easy to do. So what I'm going to do is drag another one, and you'll see the nice thing here is when I drag another tag in, it remembers my settings from my previous graphic that I just put in. So the sizing options for it, you can see the tag values in it, and so on. Okay. So let's show you how the real-time trend works. You'll see on the right-hand side, you do have a real-time trend. And once you select that, you'll see it changes the graphic. And now you have a real-time view of that tag value that's coming through. Okay. So you can resize this and so on and move it around within that graphic. It's totally up to you how you want to integrate it. Okay, so the nice thing as well is that you can now start to develop different layers in terms of what the operator sees, or what the supervisor sees, or what the plant manager sees. Okay, so on a KPI perspective, you might want to drop some KPIs in here. If you want to have more information from an operator level, you can also do that and give him a bit more detail on the process side of things. Okay, so again, this is Insight. It's available now. Okay, so you can use the graphic option already. What we've also added in this tool is an additional module which is around equipment efficiency and OEE, so performance on my assets. Okay, so here I'm clicking on efficiency. You can see I've got a little Kappa asset there. I can select a downtime reason code. Okay, so what I can also do as well is split reason code. So maybe he didn't select the right one. You can merge, you can split, etc. And you have a list of options in terms of reasons that you can actually assign there. So this is totally configurable as well. You have off-the-shelf KPIs that you can do as well in terms of the dashboarding that comes with it. So you can see what happened in the last hour for my piece of equipment. And then you can also drill down into the OEE analysis of it. Okay, so how is my efficiency in terms of downtime occurrences, mean time between failures, etc. Okay, now all of this is off the shelf. Okay, I haven't developed anything in here. These dashboards come naturally in the performance side of things. You can also do drill down options for OEE as well. So if you select a graph and show the grid view, you can now see more detail in terms of your availability, your performance, and your quality of your piece of equipment. Okay, so it's quite nice. So that's a Viva Insight tool. Okay. So when we talk about a unified operations interface, it's more than just an HMI. So what you guys are used to is the S95 standard within system platform. It's the central place for developing all of your objects and tools and templates, etc. It's a central place for managing your standards in terms of graphics and alarming, etc. But it's a lot more than just an HMI going forward. What we can now do is integrate into other systems like fleet and schedule and engineering systems. Okay? And that's the stuff we saw there in that previous demo. We can go one level above this. So with the Aviva integration into our business, we now can take a physical asset and we can represent that into a digital asset. Okay? So just to show you again how this works. Again, we're back in the system platform environment. Okay? It's OMI as the back end. And in here, you'll see a 1D representation of your plant, what you're used to, so in terms of the process. So from here, you can operate your plant, you can navigate it, you can change set points, etc. But what you also have is the 2D and 3D options. Okay, so as you select a valve, for example, in this instance, you'll see now the physical location of that valve in the plant floor. Okay. And the nice thing is you can zoom into this, you can zoom out of it, you can sort of go around it as well since it is 3D. And it makes it easier for a maintenance guy to understand a work order when he gets that order. Okay, what sort of preventative maintenance do I need to take? On the P&ID side of things, it also influences the guys on the process side. Okay, so he now understands if he takes this into maintenance, what other process he's going to affect. Okay. So if I select another piece of equipment, you'll see that it navigated to the pump, for example. And again, the same story, it basically navigates on the P&ID diagram, where you can see from a process level how this is going to affect his process. Okay. So the technology behind this is Aviva Engage and Aviva Net, where we're showcasing the 3D rendering of it. So on the 2D representation, you'll see you've got other information there, not just a P&ID diagram. So on that specific pump, you've got information about that pump, okay, max flows, specifications, etc. Okay, so on the right-hand side, you'll see we've got something called control of work. Okay, now from here, we can basically go and create what we call work orders. We can generate work permits. We can do asset registers. We can create a knowledge base of information for the maintenance guys. Okay, so when he now goes to the maintenance orders or has done maintenance on a similar piece of equipment, he has the knowledge base to better resolve an issue. So let's take a deeper look into how this actually works. So if I go into this control of work tool, I can go and click on work orders, and this should give me a list of all the work orders that's created for my plant. Okay, so it gives me a list in terms of priority. I can also see the description of it, the tag numbers, etc. But I can also see on the right-hand side there the priority of my work orders, so the guys know which one to attend to. And then you've also got nice statuses on the right-hand side here, extreme right, where it talks about risk management. Is there any risk management that you need to take off? Is there any preventative maintenance that I need to know of? Okay, and it gives you basically a little tick box to say whether it's completed or not, so a little workflow. So this is the Aviva control of work tool, which allows you to do maintenance a lot faster, a lot quicker, and it gives you that view in the operational management interface where you can integrate it into system platform, which is quite nice. Okay, so we talked about KPIs, we talked about the 1D, 2D, and 3D rendering. What I want to talk about now is something slightly different from what we used to. So we talk about mainly when we do these breakfasts, we talk about plants and mines and FMCG plants and so on. So I want to take you across the border slightly to India, to the east of India. It's a place called Naya Raipur, where they're doing something very similar with the Unified Operations Center, but slightly different. Okay. So what they're doing there is something called a smart city. Okay. So using a smart city concept and using the unified operation concept and using system platform, they were able to develop a smart city control center. Okay? And they're using, again, OMI as the back end, where they can now view all the information from that city. So this is an example of 3 of the rollouts that have been done already live. They've got 4 more to go, so they'll be rolling out 7, where I can see information on the plant floor in terms of the mapping. I can see financial information. I can see information about parking bays, traffic routes, etc. The nice thing is about this is they can reroute traffic or medics or firefighters, etc., depending on what the traffic looks like from the head office side of things, and they can do that. They've also got a water system where they're monitoring, so they can now create or generate work orders from here as well, from a central location, and dispatch people to wherever they need to be. Okay, so this is just an example. This is live at the moment. So if you actually go to YouTube and Google Naya Raipur, you'll actually come up with this demo video as well. Okay. So just imagine if you could actually run your plant exactly like India is running their smart city. Okay, using system platform, using operations management interface, and bringing all that information into one place. So the back end of all of this is Wonderware system platform, what we used to. Okay. So just to go back one step in terms of our roadmap for Wonderware system platform. Last year, 2018 odd, we released system platform 2017 update 2. Okay. Later that year, we released update 3. And then 2020 is expected at the end of this year. Okay. Beyond that, we have no idea what it's going to be called, so we just call it System 2020 ? It'll probably be SP1, etc. And then by 2021, we'll see a 2021 release of System Platform being released. So currently, we have a System Platform 2017 Update 3 Service Pack 1 that's just been released, and it is available now for general download. So you can go to the GCS website and get it from there. Okay. So if you're waiting for a stable version of 2017, you're probably about 4 versions behind already. So please make sure that you get yourselves upgraded to the latest and greatest so that you can get the benefit of OMI, etc. Okay, so if you track back one step, update 3 and what we've done in terms of that release. What we've done with that is, in terms of the themes for the release, was more around giving you more stuff, being able to work less, work easier, and work faster. So there's a lot of functionality that we've added in 2017, things like external content, which makes it easier for you to bring in other tools into the system platform environment, things like BI tools, etc. We've also added new animation links so that you can bring in things like web browsers or web addresses into your OMI application so you have one place to look at that information. Okay. So I'm not going to go through all of this in terms of the features and functions that's available. Okay. You can download the applications and then contact us if you need more information on all the features. But what I want to talk about is the work less and the work faster side of things. Okay. So when we launched 2017, we spoke about applications. And this concept works very much like your cell phones, where you go to a Play Store and download applications. So we moved that concept into the SCADA environment. So what we have is something called a digital exchange, where you can now go and post your applications that you've developed, or partners could post the application that they've developed, and we can share it amongst our communities. So that means you don't have to go and redevelop stuff. Okay, it might be something that exists already on this website, where you can actually go and just download and use off the shelf. Okay. So if you go to exchange.aviva.com, you'll see that there is some applications there already that Aviva has developed as well that you can actually go and use. So one of the apps that we've developed recently and it's released with SP1 now is the document app. Okay. So we've had many clients ask us for integration of Microsoft Word and Excel and bitmap images into the OMI application, so that's what we've done. So give you an example of what this looks like. So if you worked with System Platform and OMI, you know it's very much context-driven. So as you navigate to different areas, it gives you context to that area. Okay. So here we're clicking on an area, and you'll see you've got full view of a document on the right-hand side, Word document. And you can go and edit this. You've got full functionality, basically, as if you were inside a Word document or launching Word document. When I navigate to another area, you'll see this brings up the Excel sheet. And again, you've got full functionality in terms of the Excel stuff that you do. So if you're still using Excel, no problem. We'll work with you. You can bring that stuff in. Okay. You've also got the PDF viewer, which is part of the document app as well. Okay. And this is quite nice in terms of maintenance guys. So if he's going to maintain a certain piece of equipment, he can now get the specifications of that pump in a PDF document in one view. You've also got an image viewer, and again with this, you've got full functionality sitting inside OMI, where you can go and rotate it, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, etc., which is quite cool. Okay, so in terms of work faster, we talk about performance, and performance is one of the things is on top of mind whenever we release System Platform or any of our Wonderware products. Okay, so if you're familiar with System Platform, you'll know we work on a basis where we talk about templates and instances. So if I create a template, okay, any change to the template means that it will instantiate all the changes to my instances, so I develop it once. So in terms of performance, here's an example of what we're doing, and this is an update 3, where I have a set of templates in terms of a vehicle. Okay, I have about 50 templates, and I've generated about 1,000 instances. So what I'm going to do is instill a change in this, or effect a change in it. So I open it up to edit any of the attributes. Okay, so I go in and I click and say IO, for example, or history. I change something so that we can now propagate this change to my 1,000 instances. Now, if you worked with System Platform already, you know this can take sometimes several seconds or minutes or hours or days sometimes. But in update 3, we've improved that performance for you. Okay, so you'll see with 1,000 instances now, we're talking about 1 minute 58 in terms of implementing that change right the way through. But in a new version, which is coming up later this year, if I'm going to do the same change that I've done now, you'll see it takes a lot quicker. Okay, any takers? 7 seconds. Okay, so 7 seconds for 1,000 instances. Okay, which is brilliant. And this is baseline. We're talking about 15 times faster for check-ins for development. But this is just baseline. We will get a better number going forward as we develop this. Okay. So in terms of solutions that I've showed you here, as a user, you'll see you've got lots of tools. You've got the flow software, you've got the communication drivers in terms of dispersed information, you've got Aviva Insight, you've got OMI, you've got a whole lot of tools. Okay. So all these tools helps you get cost reduction and help you optimize your assets and all of these nice things. But you might say, okay, how do I get everything in one package? So what we're launching is a new commercial model, and it's called Aviva Flex. So if you want n number of users, or you want connectivity or telemetry device integration products, or you wanted more than one visualization client, all of this is bundled into this commercial model. So on that note, I thank you for your time. Hopefully you enjoyed the technical content of it. I'll hand you back to Darren to wrap up. Thanks.
Thanks, Nilen. I think the one important thing that Nilen also highlighted there, guys, is that at the end of this year, System Platform 2020 will be released. That means that the customers running 2014 are more than 4 versions behind. So we encourage you guys to look at upgrading. The number one challenge that I give you guys today is when you go back into your organization, I want you to consider being the guy providing the wheels to your business. When digital transformation opportunities come your way, make sure you're the guys providing the wheels to accelerate. Do not be the guys pushing the cart that are too busy to see where the opportunity is. Okay, so take that to heart. Some ask, where do you start? What do you do? The most important thing for you guys is to start. Sometimes you start small, sometimes you start simple, but most importantly, sometimes you can just start with what's right in front of you. Now, during the break, we asked you to download an app, and then we put a mouse pad on your table. It's just an ordinary mouse pad. But if you look at it from a different perspective, and you have a look and try and unlock a world of opportunity, a whole new world will open up from you. So if you guys can launch that app that we asked you to download during the break, start it. So it's called the Augmented Events. Start the app, and then once you've gone through the acceptance and that, point your camera towards the mouse pad. And what you'll see in front of you is that all of a sudden you have an asset in front of you. You can interact with this asset. You can get more information on the pump or the motor. Now, this is a simple concept and a simple idea. But what we want to reiterate with you is that digital transformation is not this big bang approach. It could be something simple, it could be something small, but those are the things that add incremental value to your business. And we encourage you to find that small incremental value. So in wrapping up, it's whether you're looking to start, like Exaro have been on their journey, or whether you're looking to free up information and create free up time for innovation and optimization through a new way of work like Midrand Breweries did. Or you're looking to consolidate your information and contextualize it in a unified operations center. You have an enduring platform in the Aviva technology and trusted partners in IS³ and their system integrator channel. And the most important thing right now is that now it comes with simplicity and ultimate flexibility with Aviva Flex. If you guys want more information about the products Nilen spoke about and the success stories that Samir shared with us today, please, at the back of your name tag, there's a QR code. Please scan that, and it will take you to our feedback form, and you can reach out to our digital team, and they're ready to reach out and give you feedback. The important thing I want to say is if you're still unsure about your first step, reach out to the IS³ Digital Acceleration team. They're here to help you start. They're here to help you identify your opportunities and help you fall in love with your problem. And together, we can shape the future. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.